Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Eddie Jennings from EJSLLC.com. This video is going to be another in my RHCE practice session series where I am preparing for the Red Hat Certified Engineer exam. Before I dive in, I want to thank returning subscribers again for watching another video, as well as invite everyone who's watching, if you haven't subscribed yet, to click that subscribe button and ring the bell when you do so you can be notified of when new content comes available. Also, if you enjoy the content of the video or find it useful, don't forget to click like and feel free to share it with others who might also find it useful. In this video, I'm going to continue with the Configure Ansible Managed Nodes part of the RHCE objectives, and we'll be looking at Configure Privilege Escalation on Managed Nodes. I want to remind you that this isn't necessarily intended to be authoritative information, nor is it intended to be a tutorial, but rather it's an opportunity for me to go over whatever objective is at hand and see if I can explain it well or give some examples. And if I am successful, then that tells me that I'm prepared to handle tasks on the exam related to that objective. And if not, then I know what I need to brush up on between now and the exam, which is about 3 weeks or so away. That being said, I do try to have the information as accurate as possible, and you might find some benefit from some of the things I have to troubleshoot. If I get stuck on something, you'll see how I handle that, and that might be useful for you with your own studies for RHCE. So getting into it, let's log in to the control node. I'm going to go ahead and sudo in, well actually no, I'm not going to do that yet because the Ansible account in this environment that I've set up over the last couple of videos does not have sudo privileges. So what we're going to need to do is, there's a couple of ways of doing this. I could manually go in or SSH into each of my nodes. I have 20 nodes right now, 4 of which are Red Hat nodes and the other are Fedora nodes. I could manually go into each of those and configure the etc sudoers file, or I could use Ansible to try to touch them all. All right, so let's see what I can do here. I do have an inventory which has all the, okay, so what I've done, what I now have remembered that I've done is on my actual admin account, I've given myself enough to be able to actually do a little bit of stuff. So I could either make an entry in etc sudoers, or I could create a file in etc sudoers-d or etc sudoers.d, which would give the Ansible account what it needs. What would be the better way of doing that? I think I'll make a file. I think that'll be the way of making this happen. So I can either do this as an ad hoc command or I can make a playbook for it. What I'd like to do is do this as an ad hoc command. Let's see if I can make that happen. So I'm going to do Ansible, and we're going to go to all. Module is going to be the copy module because you can put some text through the copy command. That's what we're going to do. Well, no, that's going to be tough. So I'm going to have some parentheses and such and some single quotes. You know, let me do this as a playbook instead. So we'll just make up a quick little playbook, set up sudo.yml. This won't take long. I'm going to do some shorthand for this, hosts all. I'll handle become and all that at the command line. So tasks, we'll do the copy command. Content is going to be Ansible all equals all. You know, I'm going to put this in quotation marks. I think that'll be worthwhile. No pass WD all. So what this is basically saying is Ansible can sudo with any command and it's not going to require a password. And we want that just from the fact that when you're running your playbooks and such, it'll be annoying to always have to feed stuff your become password. And I guess there may be some ways of automating things. You can use Ansible Vault to get around that, but a lot of the tutorials that I've followed and some of the stuff that I've kind of seen in the wild typically will have this configured. And the destination is going to be etc sudoers.d, and we're going to put it into just a file called Ansible. And I think that's all that I need for that. There is one thing I do want to look up real quick with the copy command, because I know this is something I'm going to have to research a bit more on my own. But I know it may be validate. That's it. So, I mean, I know that the syntax that I'm using is right, but I know that copy and I think line and file might have this as well, maybe. But you can run some validation, and I know you can do that for vi sudo and a couple of other things. So that's something I'm going to need to look into between now and the exam. But so let's cat our setup sudo. That looks good. This is, usually I would have the name of the play and the name of the task and all that, but this is just real basic. So we'll do Ansible playbook. The remote, let's see. Well, I don't need to specify the remote user. Setup sudo, I want to become, and I need to feed it the passwords. I need to give it the inventory file because this is not my typical environment. And I also forgot to tell it forks 20. So it's going to do this 5 hosts at a time, but that shouldn't take too terribly long. All right, so the play ended. Let's sudo into our Ansible account. Clear the screen, and let's SSH into labrel an01. So we should be able to do that without a key. And now let's sudo vim or sudo vi. Yep, and I was not prompted for sudo credentials. So I'm confident that this will be true for all. So let's see, what could we do for this? Let's say we got that. All right, so we could do, I know what we could do. All right, could do SSH. No, that wouldn't work. Let's do an Ansible ad hoc command. So Ansible ad hoc all, and we're just going to do a shell here. And we're going to do sudo ls. Actually, we'll do sudo hostname. And then we'll set the become parameter for that. And this ble, did I misspell that? Oh, I'm still on the remote host. That would be why, because obviously Ansible is not installed on those. So let's try this again. Ansible all a sudo hostname. We're going to become. Do I have an inventory file done? I must have. I guess we haven't configured that yet, have we? All right. Well, I might save that for well, no, I could do it now. We'll just do it real quick. Let's make directory. We're going to call this, or we could just do it in this directory. So we'll make an inventory file real quick. vi inventory, and we'll do ini format for this. Labrel an0 1 through 9. Labrel an10 through 20. Make a quick configuration file, ansible.cfg, defaults, inventory equals home Ansible inventory. We'll do a little test here, Ansible inventory graph. All right, so it's found all of our hosts. All right, so now let's try this. So Ansible all sudo hostname, and we're going to become for that. All right, and this is going fine. Yeah, we have a deprecation warning, but if we weren't able to sudo without using the password and such, then this would have given us errors. So that is about it. There's not a whole lot to configuring the privilege escalation. Now, if you only want to give your Ansible user rights to do certain commands, I could imagine maybe you have some environments to where it would be too much of a risk to basically give the Ansible user or whatever user you're using on the remote nodes just full access to everything. But if you did want to do full access to everything, either configuring etc sudoers or copying a file into the etc sudoers.d directory that has Ansible all equals parentheses all close parentheses all no passwd all, that will give you pretty much free reign without having to use passwords. And I have a feeling for the RHCE that's the kind of thing that we're probably going to have to configure. So I hope you found this video useful. If you did, don't forget to click like. Also, I want to thank returning subscribers for watching another video and invite everyone to subscribe if you haven't yet. Feel free to leave comments. You can ask questions, leave critique, leave praise. I'll respond as I have both time and ability. Thanks again for taking the time to watch, and I'll see you the next time.